Can V1 from Ultrakill survive or even destroy the Backrooms if the robot noclipped in accidentally? Well, in this video, I'll examine just what would happen to V1 if it was in the Backrooms. In this video, I will include some of the more popular and dangerous levels, such as level Fun, level Run, and a couple other levels to get a good idea and come to a definite conclusion on if V1 could survive.
What? I'm alive? Where the freak am I?
V1 from Ultrakill is the most dangerous mosquito-like robot there is. It can move around from light speeds in lore, and around the speed of incredibly fast cars if you use the in-game speed. For durability, the robot could take punches from several kilometer-tall titans and machines, as well as some black hole-adjacent attacks from beings made from pure willpower. For attack power, V1 can dish out attacks that in-game can have damage numbers with several digits, which can nearly one-shot the most powerful bosses present in the game. And what makes this robot like a mosquito is its ability to use blood as direct fuel for it, and it can use the blood to heal devastating injuries from battle. It is also able to parry just about any attack, setting it back a bit stronger than before, and also heal itself. Now, a few weaknesses for V1 is that it cannot come back from being one-shot itself. This is because if the attack does enough damage to V1 all in one go, there is no opportunity to heal because V1 would die instantly. Another limitation for V1 are that some of the attacks are not parryable, and that the robot cannot contend with entities that are a few dimensions higher than itself, or beings that are able to go through dimensions and manipulate reality. This is for the reason that V1 has no abilities to keep up with them or even damage them, if they were to escape or use their reality warping or higher dimensional abilities to try and get away. That is not to say that V1 is generally weak to reality warpers, because the robot can resist reality warping and corruption. This is seen in Ultrakill's Hell, where V1 is pretty much all the time subjected to reality warping with corruption, and is still able to fight without any issue, which makes it so V1 is resistant to these types of attacks but not really able to do them offensively. So now let's noclip V1 into the Backrooms. When noclipped in, just about everybody starts in level 0, the lobby, and this is where V1 starts as well. Level 0 is not too dangerous even for normal people, so for V1 this level is extremely easy, but a bit detrimental because of the few to none entity count, so there's not that much blood. This is the case for most levels in the Backrooms, except the few which are entity infested. Most entities are generally no stronger than Ultrakill fodder enemies, so they serve as some quick and easy fuel, with the exception of the entities which have no blood. One popular level which can be used to highlight how V1 would go through and destroy everyone is level Fun, which is a level that is themed in a way to be like kids' parties. The entities that populate this level are the partygoers, party poopers, and the SFV infected, which are people infected with the sanguine festivus virus that turns normal people into smiling, hungry, zombie-like creatures that act similarly to the partygoers. V1 is able to clean through hordes of the partygoers and the SFV infected people because, well, they're weak and are able to be killed by the party poopers, which are normal humans with weapons who specifically attack partygoers and SFV infected. But for the poopers of the parties, they would also be killed by V1 because the robot's always desperate for blood and does not care who has it. The robot just needs a fix of it or it dies. So level Fun is pretty much cleaned through. Then after some more exploring through more levels, the robot is subjected to some reality warping with some soul and mind manipulation stuff from a couple of the entities of some levels, or even the levels themselves, but V1 is generally unaffected by this, because, well, Ultrakill Hell also does that, so it's able to continue on forth. But eventually V1 gets into level Run for Your Life, or level Run, as it's more popularly known. This level is described as being a modern hospital hallway illuminated in red lights. It is about 12 miles long or about 19 kilometers long, and has a few, if not just a handful of turns in it. When you get into the level, you will be placed in the middle, and several dangerous entities spawn behind you, making it so you have to run through about half of the level at full sprint for 6 miles so as to not die. You also have to parkour through several obstacles as well, which makes going through the level and running running at full sprint much harder because now you have to jump through obstacles, which would make it so you'd get tired pretty easily and most likely die. Now, V1 could easily go through the level in just a few minutes with the much slower in-game speed of V1, but V1 wouldn't run from the entities that he has previously turned into fuel, which is what would happen in this level. V1 would start to do some silly, high-damaging attack combos, and after several entities perish, the ones left will then start to run the other way as V1 becomes the hunter. But after cleaning through the backrooms and accidentally destroying parts of levels, the entirety of the backrooms will forcefully send V1 to level you cheated. Now, this level has a few different interpretations depending on which of the three main wikis you read, but pretty much it's either a level that sends you to a small room with a door that leads to a dark void, filled with the backroom's most dangerous entities and even some of which don't have a specific article on them, or it is a server room that slowly starts to decay as it tries to kill you with fire, explosions, and entities. And if you touch anything in the server room, you die instantly with no way to prevent it. But to escape the server room, there is a door that opens up after a few minutes, which leads to a small, complex maze in which you have to find a quarter to then put into an arcade machine to be able to go back into the backrooms, as the entities, fires, and explosions are following you. Now, in the server room version, V1 would be able to escape with little issue, as long as V1 doesn't accidentally touch anything in the server room. If it does, then V1 will die, because it's an instant death with no way to heal it or prevent it. But in the other version of this level, V1 will pretty much be stuck as it's in a void place where the robot will be constantly fighting entities, as it indefinitely waits for an exit to show up, if it ever will. So can V1 survive the backrooms? Well, kinda. There are a few ways in which V1 will struggle or even lose to the backrooms. One way is that there are some levels with either few entities or no entities. This is an issue because of the lack of blood availability resulting from the very low or no entity count in these specific levels. This could result in V1 being put out of commission because it needs a lot of blood for fuel, and if there's not enough entities to supply it, then it will burn through all of its fuel and pretty much starve to death as it desperately tries to go through the levels. Another way the backrooms could win is in the trap levels. This is because they pretty much trap you in there with either a very rare or specific way to find an exit, or there's just no exit in these levels. And since V1 has no hacks abilities like willpower or reality warping, which could force an exit, V1 will get stuck in these levels. Some of them do spawn entities, which will make it so V1's trapped in there indefinitely, or until the level stops spawning them. Or if the level doesn't even have entities, then the robot will starve to death because of lack of fuel. And the last major way V1 would lose is to an instant kill attack from either the levels or some of the much stronger, almost godlike entities of the backrooms. Instant kill attacks, even in the game, just end you without any way to heal through them. The weaker or more damaged V1 is, the less powerful the attack has to be to instantly kill V1, which in the backrooms, V1 would be pretty susceptible to being instant killed by the entities because of the lack of blood, which will weaken the robot, making it easier to destroy because of less health. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe with all notifications, like the video, share it, and comment your thoughts down below. Also, please consider joining the membership for this channel, because with more money I can make more videos and make them more frequently, so every little bit helps out. In each tier there's some nice and cool perks which you should definitely check out to see if you're interested.